Now, I know this video is going to resonate with a lot of y'all because, man, I understand one thing is true in life. I'm not the only one. And I think I should put that on a shirt because a lot of the time I feel that way. I felt like a lot of my experiences in life were so personalized. Like what I've been through was just so unique. But in reality, what I've been through, a lot of people in this life have been through. And by acknowledging that and understanding that, I've made myself a lot more relatable. But I've also not only been more relatable, but I've learned how to now relate to other people in a way that I can express my experience to them without them knowing I've been through it, right? I can relate to them in a way where I can see through them. I can see who they are and I can see what they've been through because I understand that I've been through it as well. I understand that I've been in the same situation they've been in. And now that I understand that I'm not the only one, now I can be able to help other people not only heal their pain and heal what they've been through, but also to help other people, grow and mature and to excel in the life that they want to live. But I say all that to say that you can't hide, right? But let me start off by telling a story, right? So I got a quick little story. So one day, I was going to my girl's mom's house and, we pull up, she hops out, I hop out, we grab the kids and there's a guy on the porch, he's drinking a drink, he's on his phone and he's just kind of staring at us back and forth, like looking at his phone, looking at us, but not really saying nothing. But of course, you got to be able to pay attention to signs like that when you're walking about, with your family and things of that nature. So, we walk past whatever, we press on. I get to the back, they're grilling, they're cooking out at my mom's house. So we're out there just kicking it, we cooling out. And, I'm with my son and he's with his cousin, which is my nephew. So while we back there, they playing, having fun, but my son likes to play basketball, he likes to play football. So I keep a couple of balls in the trunk. So what I did is me and him, we went back to the car to get a ball out the trunk, maybe a basketball, maybe a football. I think we got both at one point. We ended up getting both. But the guy was still sitting on the porch and he was still on his phone. He was still drinking his drink. And you could tell he was still looking at us. So I go to the trunk, I get what I'm getting. And then he says something to me. We have a couple second conversation, but this guy was, he was Jamaican. His accent was kind of hard to understand. But, I was still getting what he was trying to say out of what he was saying. I was still getting the message out of what he was saying. And at one point he said, "You can't hide." And I was like, "I can't hide." And it was like, what do you mean? Like in my brain, I'm like, what do you mean I can't hide? Like, I almost got a little pressed. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, you trying to do something to me? But he was like, "You can't hide." And he almost started complimenting me. He's like, "Yeah, you pulled up in this car. You guys got out, with your family and everything, blah, blah, blah. You can't hide." And over time, I started understanding that he was actually complimenting me. But, of course, at first I couldn't take it as a compliment because it's like, you're telling another man you can't hide like you seeking. So, I get to the back and I'm, "Oh yeah, thank you. I ain't trying to hide. I'm speaking." And I get to the back and it kind of puts me in the stage of introspect. And I'm like, I can't hide. What does he really mean by that? And I started thinking, I'm like, okay, I am kind of tall. So maybe he's just thinking I'm tall. I pulled up in a decent car. It's newer, so of course people are going to think it's nice. I got a beautiful family with me and he's saying all these things and he's like, I can't hide. And I was like, I guess when I'm living like this, I can see what that means, but I like to take everything a little bit deeper, or I like to take everything a step further. So even though he gave me that message in my brain, he might have been saying it only for what he saw. But in my brain, I took it for like a divine message. And when he said, I can't hide, I took that to my soul. And I looked at my life and I started thinking like, yo, all my life, I've always tried to lay low. All my life, I wanted to keep it low key. I always wanted to be behind the scenes. I never wanted to be in the spotlight. I feel like I have the capabilities to be a leader, but every time it was my chance to be a leader, I would always pass it off. Now, if it had to be me, sure, I'd take the responsibility, right? But I never wanted to be the dude in the spotlight. And I started thinking, I'm like, man, I can't hide. I shouldn't be trying to hide. He just told me I can't. And in reality, in my own brain, the person I feel like I am, I can't. The person I feel like I am, I can't hide. There's no way I can hide. Like the amount of greatness that it radiates off of me, from how I looked, how I walked, how I moved, how I speak, my demeanor as a whole. I've never been anywhere where I could hide. I've never been anywhere where people haven't tried to bring me to the front stage and try to show me off and say, oh, this, that, and the third, or, who are you? I've never been able to lay low. But my whole life, I've been trying to hide what God has given me. I've been trying to hide who I am. I've been trying to hide my gifts from the world. So I make this video as a message to all of y'all, like, don't hide who you are. Live your truth, live and be the best version of yourself, and let it show, let it shine, be a star. Don't try to sit here and try to, oh, I don't want to, show off too much and make people feel uncomfortable. No, show off, and if they get uncomfortable, that's their problem. Show off and be yourself. Show what God has given you, right? If you're in a situation where you feel like you could be the best leader for a situation, speak up. Say, I'm the person. I'm who you should choose. I'm going to be the one that's going to lead us through this. Stop trying to hide. Stop trying to play small to fit into these rooms. Stop trying to blend in. All right, you can't hide. You can't hide if you know what I'm saying? Like, stop trying to blend in. You can't blend in because you can't hide. Right? And I had to tell myself that you can't blend in because you can't hide. There's no way I can hide who I am from the world. And now that I've stopped trying and I started embracing it, I've stopped giving friction to the idea. I started doing different things, right? So I've gotten into modeling recently. I modeled for my girl's, she has a photography business, so I modeled for her. I modeled for a few of my friends and their different brands, and I have more things that I plan on doing around modeling. I've started making YouTube videos with my girl and doing podcasts with her. I started making my own videos for YouTube, like motivational videos. I started doing trading content, trading videos, all of this, and all of it only is to better me and better my life. And there's not really much more effort that I have to put into other than being myself. I don't got to practice to be myself. Everything you ever going to hear me say is just who I am. And if I just let the world see that, as opposed to trying to hide who I am, as opposed to try to diminish myself and be less than what I can be because I don't want the spotlight, it's just dumb. Because there was another situation in my life, actually. It was around when I was 17 and I was going to smoke with my boy. So I got to take like a 25-minute walk. We ain't had no cars back then, so we just walked to each other. It's a small town. 25-minute walk though. So when I'm out on that walk, I'm walking around this corner. I got my nice little headband on. I'm feeling fly that day, but that is what it is. So as I walk around this corner, this middle-aged woman is passing me, and I'm seeing her, she see me, and she gives me a big smile and she says, "You're gonna be somebody." And I was like, I didn't know how to take it all the way at the moment. So I probably said some little fluky-ish, but like, moral of the story, I said, "Thank you," right? So she says that, and I'm just thinking another situation where it put me into introspect. My whole life I've been thinking. My whole life I've always evaluated who I am, what I've been through, and that's what helped me cope with situations. So when she said that, I was like, man, I'm gonna be somebody. And just by her saying that, it gave me the motivation to want to be somebody. And it also made me think, like, maybe she sees something in me that I don't see in myself. And I can go on a whole tangent and a whole story about what that meant to me, but it's still the same thing. I can't hide. No matter where I go, no matter what room I step into, there's never been a situation where I've been able to hide and not show who I am. So I believe, though, if I just put my energy toward being myself and not trying to hide, I could do so many greater things in this life. I can help so many more people in this life just by being who I am. And I got to embrace it. I got to accept it, as opposed to trying to run from my responsibilities. I shouldn't do that anymore. I got to embrace it and take the greatness that comes with it. I feel like a lot of the time I'm holding myself back from who I'm truly meant to be because I don't want the work or the responsibility that comes with it. A lot of the time I don't want to be a leader because I don't want the responsibility of all of you possibly failing on me now because of the decisions I made. I'd rather you fail off the decisions you made rather than the ones I made. And I got to understand that the decisions I make, you appointed me leader because you feel like I can make the best decision for not only my life, but for your life as well. So, or for this situation, I ain't even going to say life. Sometimes it's just a situation. But I feel as though I should stop trying to hide and just embrace being what I know I am. So when I sit here and I look at certain situations, even that y'all might be in, y'all got to embrace who y'all are. Embrace who you are and just be the greatest possible version that you can be of yourself. because there's so much that comes behind it, and understanding that you were given the situation and whatever God-given gifts you were given for a reason. Now, don't try to hide it, show it off, and be who you are. Because as I said before, I've never been in any room where I was been able to just shy up in a corner and people not approach me and come to me. Imagine if I just started approaching them. Imagine if I just stood at the top of the room and I just, showed off what I have. I let my energy radiate as opposed to trying to cover it up. Life will really open up to you like that. And I feel as though since I've been doing that, life has been opening up to me. And I have been able to see progress. I have been able to see, a difference in not only me, but in other people around me. And how much people really look to me for advice. And how much people really appreciate what I have to say and my opinions on things. And that's beautiful. So, kind of lost my thought because I had something to say. But yeah, this is going to be just another time for not even a year, just for the rest of your life. Stop trying to hide. Right? You can't do it. There's no point in trying. You can't hide who you are. And I feel that way every day now. When I walk somewhere, it's like, don't try to act like you're normal. I'm not normal. Don't try to walk in there like you're just anybody. Don't try to walk in there and blend in. That's not who you are. That's not who God created me to be. I wasn't meant to just blend in. I was meant to lead from the front. And I've always been leading from the front in my own little ways. But now I got to do it on a bigger level. Now I got to do it to where I can actually make change. And this is unrefined. Like, who I am right now is not refined. I haven't put any work into it, no skill into it. This is just who I am naturally. So I'm thinking if I even just put in a little bit of work on a day-to-day to be a better version of myself in this way as a leader, and as a person that people can look to, I can make great change. And I feel like a lot of y'all can make great change too if y'all just put y'all mind to it and started believing that you're somebody, started believing that you're somebody of value. I know I said in one of my other videos that a lot of the time I put a lot of people above myself and always felt like everybody was worth more value than me. I always felt like I was watching everybody else's movie and I was just non-existent. And that's changed for me. And maybe a lot of y'all feel the same way. Or maybe you feel like y'all are doing that, but it's only because you're not allowing who you are to show. And that's one thing that I'm making it clear for me to do, just allowing myself to show now and just doing what I can to put myself out there. So this video right here was just to let y'all know, again, whoever you are as a person, no matter what gift you have, the world can use it, and stop trying to hide. You can't blend in. You can't hide. Let your energy radiate. Let who you are radiate. Show the world your beauty and what you have to offer this life. Because everything you see around you is beautiful. Everything serves a purpose. Everything has a reason. Right? You have a reason too. You have a reason to be here. You have a voice. You have a story to tell. So let everybody know your story, because understandably, you're not the only one. You may think whatever you went through, you were the only one. Nobody can relate. I promise you, life has shown me over and over that is not the truth. And through me living my truth and expressing my truth and understanding my truth, most importantly, through understanding my truth, I've actually got to the point where I can look at other people and see their truth without them having to tell me. And that's powerful. It's very powerful. You might upset a lot of people not hiding, right? Especially if you've been hiding for a while, especially if you've been laying low. If you let everybody take the spotlight, you stepping out might actually hurt them, ego-wise, right? They might say like, oh, like, well, who is this person thinking they somebody now? Like, step back. There's gonna be a challenge with your change, right? There's always gonna be a challenge with your change. And you gotta understand that people are gonna challenge you, you're gonna challenge you, but don't let none of that stop you. Don't let nobody try to push you into a box because of who you've been, right? Be who you are now and let them adapt, let them adjust to who you are now, right? And that's something I preach to everybody around me. Let them adjust to who you are now. Stop letting them treat you like who you were, because it's gonna keep you who you were. So, yeah, I could talk all day. I just be babbling sometimes, but y'all get the moral of the story. Y'all get the moral of the story, man. Don't hide. Be your authentic self. you know, months ago, years ago, man, I used to dodge the camera, actually. I never wanted to model. People would always think like, oh, you should model. Like, nah, I don't like taking pictures. I never smiled in pictures. I never wanted to take pictures. Whenever, you know, I was with my girl and she'd start recording, I'll get mad. I'll try to stop doing whatever I was doing. I'll probably be doing some little goofy shit. I would just stop completely because it's like, what are you doing? I don't like being on camera. I don't like you showing me. Like, I don't want the world to see me. And I don't understand why. So now that I'm making all these changes and doing all these different things, it's a little bit different. It's a little uncomfortable. It's a little, you know, odd, but in a way I like it, you know. So be yourself, be authentic. Don't let nothing hold you back in this life, and understand, most importantly, you cannot hide. With change comes challenge.